South Korean President Moon Jae-in met with the U.S. President and other world leaders at the G20 Summit in Argentina this weekend, and he asked for their support on the issue of climate change. He's now left Argentina and is on his way to New Zealand for a summit there. Traveling with the president, our Shin Se-min reports.
President Moon Jae-in has asked for the support of the world's biggest economies in dealing with a major challenge facing the globe, climate change. In a speech to the leaders on the last day of the G20, President Moon shared his administration's ambitious goal of cutting the country's reliance on coal and nuclear power and increasing the proportion of electricity it gets from renewable sources, something he's promised to raise to 20% by the year 2030. He said the G20 nations, which emit 80% of the world's greenhouse gases, should be leading efforts to control pollution, for one thing by supporting progress in that direction by developing nations. The president said that securing funds to support developing nations is important, and he urged the G20 countries to get the private sector in particular more involved. And that, he said, can be done through global climate organizations like the Green Climate Fund and the Global Green Growth Institute, and he welcomed the adoption of the Buenos Aires Update, part of the G20 nations' efforts to achieve sustainable development. Also working on his North Korea diplomacy, the president met with the leaders of the Netherlands and South Africa. Both countries are non-permanent members of the UN Security Council, and the Netherlands also sits on the North Korea Sanctions Committee. After handshakes and photo ops with the world leaders, President Moon now sets off on his last leg of his week-long trip, New Zealand, for a state visit. There, the South Korean leader will continue his economic diplomacy by seeking harmony between his new southern policy and Wellington's Pacific reset. Shin Se-min, Arirang News, Buenos Aires.